All right, so today I'm at the Crow Pass trailhead. The goal is to climb Crow Peak, Camp Robber, and Gray Jay, and we'll see if the weather allows for that. If not, who knows? All right, got a nice look at Crow Peak right now. Gonna be coming up that left ridge. And there's a nice rock glacier right here, and supposedly a glacier further in. But I think I can walk around it. Should be nice. The clouds are rolling in though. These ones have been coming in quick, so I might be in the clouds on the summit again. We'll see. All right, onto the rock glacier. There's the trail back over there. Here's, what is that? Jewel Glacier? Raven Glacier over here. Jewel Mountain, climbed that a little while ago from the left ridge. Looker's left. I don't know what that mountain is, but it looks pretty sweet. One of the ones over by Alyeska. There's Crow Peak. Still untouched by the clouds. Let's hope it stays that way. All right, here's the glacier. Not much left of it, but I think I'm gonna hang to the right of it and then gain the ridge that is around the corner to the top. Pretty views though. Got Raven Glacier over here, Jewel Glacier, Milk Glacier's up and over that. Got some peaks. I think that's Hut Peak, maybe? I don't know. Hopefully the clouds stay off. I really want to do this and actually see something at the top. All right, supposedly this ridge is class 2. I feel like it looks a little tougher than that in some areas, but I think we'll be able to get it done. There's there's a kinglets over there. So this is part of Bird Creek. There's a little glacier. And then that's where we came from. And behind us over here is Magpie, which is a doozy. That's one I'm not gonna try anytime soon. I don't really know what they were talking about. Talking class 2. This is a little more. I mean, it's class 3 for sure for the most part. It's not too bad, but like I thought this would be an easy walk up. Something quick. There's about probably 400 more feet left to go. Just been kind of on this climber's right side, skier's left of the ridge for the most part, and on the ridge every once in a while. It's a nice drop off on the other side. But yeah, it's been good so far. All right, we're at the top. We made it, Crow Peak. Check out all those views of the clouds. There's Magpie. That one, I think I already said something about it. That one is like a terrible gully on the left side, the side that you can't see of the ridge, and then like a super exposed knife edge to the summit for a couple feet. But apparently that one's really bad. People say that's their least favorite of like most of the Chugach 120. I don't know what peak that is. I think it's unnamed, but that might be Camp Robber right there. Might be my next destination. I'm not quite sure. There's Hut Peak again, coming out of the cloud as we speak. And then the neighborhood at Crow Pass, or the trailhead at least. There's that little glacier I came up from. And then, oh yeah, check out my elaborate film skills. All right, this is the ridge I came up from. Definitely a little more like class 3 than class 2, but it wasn't that bad. On to Camp Robber and Gray Jay. Also, my trail runners are already in pretty bad condition, but I tore open a nice little flap to my sock. So we'll see how that ends up going for the sharp rocks over here too. So that's the way I came from. That's the West Ridge. I think I'm gonna take this little gully down here. I think that'll work. I think it'll spit me out down below the glacier, or above the glacier, I guess. And then I can just make my way back out that way. I think I'll cut off like almost a mile. But yeah, about 5 miles in. It's been just over 2 hours. Just came down from Crow Peak. Probably not the best route down, but I mean, we'll make it work. It shouldn't be that bad. I think I can see the bottom over there. Fairly chill. Nothing above class 3. Downward we go. Down the moraine, out the valley. Good stuff. Goodbye, glacier. Sure, I'll be back. Some cool stuff going on here. We got the striations from the glacier all going this way. I guess, you know, downhill as glaciers flow. And I don't know if these are like ripples. I don't know how they would have formed. They might just be weird erosional patterns, but they really look like ripple marks. So maybe those were formed during deposition. I feel like that's a little surprising because this is a turbidite and I don't really know much about ripples forming during turbidites. Turbidites are, I guess, just like on the continental shelf. Here, I'll give you a demonstration. Continental shelf goes like this. You get the oceanic floor down here, and it's like little debris avalanches or landslides, I guess. Debris landslides coming down, and they form these stripes of sandstone and shale because the sandstone is all larger grains. That's what defines a sandstone, and a shale is smaller grains. And the larger grains just, I guess, settle first on the ocean floor, and then the shale comes after. So they come in these repeated landslide after landslide after landslide, and they pile up as sandstone bands with shale in between them. So there's your geology lesson for the trip. All right, at Crow Pass, it's lunchtime, probably a couple Cliff Bars. All right, on my way up off the Crow Pass Trail, it's right down there, into the valley of Gray Jade, Camp Robber, and Steamroller Pass. There's Raven Glacier over there, but I'm headed that way around that corner into the brush. Not that bad, but we got a little bit of schwacking, or at least walking through the meadowy stuff. Is that snow? Or is that rock? Either way, that's kind of cool. Anyway, got a moraine. Back over that way, there's where the trail goes, Crow Pass Trail. And up there, I think is Gray Jay. I'm not totally sure on that, but it's something. All right, headed up the Clear Creek drainage behind me over here. I've made it a decent ways. I'm like 4,000 feet. And then behind me over here, going into the clouds now, is Steamroller Pass. Up and over this and around a corner is the actual pass. I still got like over 1,000 feet to go before I get to the pass. And then I just gotta go up the ridges on either side and I'll knock off the peaks, and then I just gotta go back. All right, I'm at Steamroller Pass. It's starting to sprinkle on me. So I'm gonna do Camp Robber first, this way, and then Gray Jay, because Camp Robber is class 3. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully no holdups. Hopefully the rain holds out. Not much of a view over Steamroller today. Can see like some snow and that's it. Hopefully that clears up a little bit. Check it out. You can see Gray Jay. I can see it better through the camera than I can with my bare eyes. But that's the snowfield that I just went skiers left of, climbers right. I'm about 300 feet from the top, and it's been a walk so far. I don't know where the class 3 is, but I'd believe it. On to Gray Jay after that. There's the class 3. This will be fun when it's wet. Interesting. All right, the clouds have dissipated. Here's Clear Glacier. Down into there is, you know, Bird Creek Valley, whatever. This, I believe, is Bird Peak. So here's Camp Robber, actually. Or not, sorry, Crow Peak, where I just was a couple hours ago. Magpie's over here again. And then the Gray Jay is right over there. Final stop. And it is some gorgeous views into the valley. I'm so glad the clouds aren't in this section. And this ridge is like super easy. I just stayed on the top of it. It looks way worse in the fog. Oh, it's a Gray Jay. I hope this one is class 2 and I was not getting them mixed up and this one was the class 2 one. But either way, it'll be fine. 5 p.m. coming down from the summit of Camp Robber. Hopefully I'm not coming out when it's late, but I started at 12 and I did Crow Peak and then this, so Gray Jay shouldn't take too long, and then it shouldn't take too long to get back. Glissade time! Let's get down this. This one's a little more rotten than I would like. Come on, please. Give me a little more speed. Stay on this ridge. There we go. Woo! Oh, there we go. That's not so bad. Now we're getting some speed. Yes, sir. Woo! Here comes Gray Jay. Okay, one thing that really sucks, I'm back at Steamroller, but one thing that really sucks is that my shoe has become so worn down that my foot is about to pop out of here. So every time I walk on a rock, it leaves just a terrible bruise on my foot, and it's really starting to hurt. So I think I'll need new shoes. It's okay, these ones have been through a lot. They're, like I said before, they're falling apart right here. That rip got bigger today. There's one here from when I did Bold. Yeah, there's some problems with them. Ptarmigan's on the top of Gray Jay. Let's go. Hey guys. I don't mean to get in the way of your party. There is, sorry, I gotta zoom out. There is Camp Robber. And then you can get down Steamroller Pass over here, get up over to Archangel Pass and do the Kinglets, which are kind of right in front of me, or right in front of the camera, but in the cloud. Someday I want to do that. That might be an overnighter. Anyway, that's 43 of the 120 Chugach State Park peaks with 500 feet of prominence. Although that was pre-LiDAR, so some of those are wrong, but that's the challenge. 120. So 43 with Gray Jay, 42 with Camp Robber. It is now gone behind me, but that was a fun day, fun trip. Time to head back. Of course, I've still got a pretty long way to go for the Chugach 120. The ones that I've done so far are pretty easy, and there are about 40 of them that are way harder, that require ropes, ice climbing, rock climbing, glacier travel, all sorts of stuff. Some really sketchy, chossy climbs that you can't really rope up for because you can't really place a cam or anything anywhere. You can't place gear, including Magpie. That's one of them. So yeah, we got a long way to go, but it's nice to get some of them. Anyway, it's 5:30 right now, so I better start hauling back. I also got a long way to go, and my phone's about to die, so after I finish up this cucumber, I'm about to book it down. Now I'm starting to see the toe of Clear Creek Glacier, which is cool because Crow Peak is at the very head of the glacier. So I just did a kind of a loop around the glacier, a little half loop, which is pretty neat, I think. Okay, I'm back out of Clear Creek on this little primitive trail that heads back towards Raven. There's my first look at it again. There's looking down Raven Creek on the Crow Pass Trail. We're headed out. Oh man, my foot hurts so bad. It is very bruised on the bottom in that section where there's no padding left. Every tiny pebble. It hurts. But there is Double Top. It is out of the clouds. And I'm almost back. I got about 2.5 miles left to go probably. I think it's a little less, like 2.3. So we're almost back. And then I'm gonna give my foot a rest. Woo! All right, I almost forgot to film an outro because my foot was hurting so bad. By the end of it, it was pretty much just the insole keeping the rocks away from my foot. Or between my foot and the rocks. And that was really pretty excruciating for the last little bit there, but overall, pretty solid day otherwise, aside from I could have used a little more sun. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. Got done with 3 peaks, Crow Peak, Camp Robber, and Gray Jay. Nice.